Good afternoon, guys. This is my second or part 2 review of the Kobalt 80-volt self-propelled 21-inch electric cordless lawnmower. In this video, I'm going to show the mowing of the grass and using the various attachments. I had some requests on my last video that I didn't show any results after mowing the grass, and so I'll try to do that today. Before I get started with that, though, I'd like to point out something that one of the comments on my part 1 was relating to the battery storage charging level. There's ambiguity in the manuals that come with this lawnmower. You get 3 manuals, one for the mower, one for the charger, and one for the battery. The battery and the charger recommend that you store these after 90 days at 100% capacity. And the mower manual contradicts that. It says beyond 30 days storage to store at between 35 and 50%. I would strongly advise to go by the lawnmower manual recommendation. It has been my experience that lithium-ion rechargeable batteries should be stored at 40%, and this is the industry standard for storing lithium-ion batteries. So I would not follow the manual for the battery or the charger as far as getting the most life out of your lithium-ion battery. It's quite a difference. 2 things dictate how long these batteries will hold up. One being temperature and the other being the level that you store it at. Ideally, you store it at around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees centigrade. That gives you an optimum level at 40%. I have linked several sites you can go to relating to longevity storage for lithium-ion batteries. Another thing, this is maybe my short, long-term review on this lawnmower. This is my second lawnmower. The one that I showed in the first review is not this lawnmower. I had mentioned that I was having problems or having a hiccup in it, that it would, for no apparent reason, would shut down while I was mowing, which was, somewhat minor inconvenience, but it got a little bit beyond being minor. Even though when it would shut off, you would have to wait about 3 seconds and then you could cut it right back on. But it started increasingly getting worse. So I took my old lawnmower and started doing some experiments on it, and I found out that just a little over 4 minutes it would shut down for no apparent reason. Didn't make any difference whether it was cold, hot, or whatever. It would just shut down. It didn't make any difference whether it was self-propelled mode or out of the self-propelled mode. It would shut down. It didn't make any difference whether the lawnmower blade was turning, it was engaged, or not. If you just had it in the self-propelled mode without turning on the blade, it still would shut off about 4 minutes and 5 seconds. It was about set your watch by. I contacted Kobalt. At that time, it had been over 30 days, so I could not take it back to Lowe's. I had gone to Lowe's and asked them. It looked like it was going to be a process. If I had taken it in within the 30 days, it would have been easily to get an exchange on my money back. But since it was beyond the 30-day limit, it was about 45 days. I called Kobalt. I told them what my problem was, and they gave me a number to put on my receipt and to take up to Lowe's. And when I did, Lowe's gave me a full refund for my old lawnmower, and I applied all of that toward my new lawnmower. So hopefully this one, I have not mowed any grass with it yet, so hopefully this one will be fine. I did test run it for 20 minutes, and it ran 20 minutes solid with no problem. So that's somewhat reassuring. A little bit about my experience with Kobalt. I called them first, and I got a representative. They put me on hold for maybe 5 minutes. I got a representative, and the representative took all of my information and tried to transfer it to the service department, but that failed. So the representative said that they would be back in contact with me within 5 working days. Well, actually it was 9 days later, 7 working days, that they got back with me. And it was at that time that I got on the phone and contacted them, and I was placed on hold for around 45 minutes, and finally a representative service technician, started taking my information. I explained all my information. She got information about my mower, And at that point, I guess she realized that the mower was defective. So at that time, she gave me the process number that would take the Lowe's to get my refund. So, and that took a total of 45 minutes on hold. And once I got to a representative, it took me about 10 minutes to get it resolved. Not the quickest in the world, but at least nowadays you can put your phone on speakerphone and you don't have to sit there with it hung on your ear for 45 minutes, so that helps a little bit. Okay, at this point, I'm here in North Carolina, and today it's probably approaching well into the high 90s, so it's hot at this point. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and so I will get out there and I will proceed with some demonstrations of how it cuts. I try to show you the 3 methods of using the lawnmower. The one, the mulching, then the using the bagger, and then showing you how the side discharge works. So now I will take a short break, pick up some pine straw and some limbs out of my yard and try to get it clear of any debris. Then I'll come back and we'll take it for a push through the yard. This is my front yard. As you can see, most of it is natural area and driveway. I will start here in the mulch mode. It normally takes me about 20 minutes to mow. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. The first one I'm gonna do it in the mulching mode. There are 2 ways you can cut it on. One is you pull the lever back and then you hit the start. The other way to turn it on is hit the start button and then pull it back. This is my backyard. It is approximately 225 feet by 60 feet of grass lawn. It's divided into 2 sections separated by a wooden fence. It normally takes me about 40 minutes to mow. Okay, I'm gonna put the bag on now and show you how to do that. Okay, you take this off. And even though I've got sponge in there, it's still got a little debris in it from the running it in the mulch. So I take the block, take that blocker out, and I'll put the bag on. Switch right over this dowel or rod. Put that down. Don't know if you can see that, but I did my front yard, and I've still got 4 lights up here, so haven't even gotten off 4 bars doing my front yard. checked the battery out itself, and I still got 3. So I haven't even got it off of a technically full charge. In other words, it's somewhere over 70% charge. Actually 75%. Okay, that was a demonstration with the bag on it. Pull the bag off. Very easy to get it off. One thing I like about this one too is that it's straightforward, so none of the clippings actually hang up in it when you try to take them off. And we just do it out here. The clippings come out very easily. Okay, now I'm going to put the side discharge on it. Show you how that works. Lift this gate up. There's a dial right there that you pick up under. And you let that spring load down on it. It takes care of that. And you want to put your wedge back in it. Slide that back in. And now I'm ready for my side discharge. Okay, I'm going to show you some high grass here so you can see it speed up in the high grass. Okay, I finished the backyard, which took about 40 minutes. So with about 20 minutes for the front yard, and the total time of mowing was about 60 minutes. I would rate the grass height cutting at about 1 inch cut off the top or light cutting. I pushed the lawnmower approximately 90% of the time rather than using the self-propel function. This would translate into about an hour of mowing with low resistance, as indicated by the control panel 3 lights I had remaining between
51% and 75% battery capacity. And according to the battery indicator, 2 lights, I have between 35% and 75% battery capacity remaining. If this had been heavy grass cutting and using the self-propel function, I would guess that the more battery capacity would have been closer to 30%. For what it's worth, Kobalt rates this mower at 80 minutes running time. As with gas ratings on cars, there are many variables that affect the true outcome. This is my 80 volt 2 amp battery that came with my Kobalt hedge trimmer. It can be used in the mower. Just remember that it has about 1/3 the running capacity as that of the 6 amp battery. Placing the 2 amp battery side by side, you will notice about a 2-inch difference in length. After each mowing, it is good practice to clean your mower of clippings and debris. In part 1 of this review, I rated this mower 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. Since then, I did have to exchange my first mower due to the shutting down factory defect. In light of this, I would have to change that rating to 4 stars out of 5. I am still satisfied with this mower and would recommend it.
I hope that you found this review video informative, and I appreciate you watching. I'm going to be doing some more Kobalt reviews in the future. Just recently purchased hedge trimmer, and I've used it once. I want to use it a few more times before I do my review. So until later, y'all have a nice day, and thank you for watching.
That's all, folks. Now y'all come back. You hear me?